everybody, Scott for Angry Badger Minis. Welcome back. We are still working on Deathwatch, and well, I think it's about to go a lot smoother than it has been. I'm trying to work out all the little nuances, if you will, of the Deathwatch and how they can have all kinds of various weapon systems and things of that nature. Also, I did go ahead and make the call and put a black shield bike rider in, so I've got a squad of 3. Again, this isn't supposed to be some big giant army. Now, my idea behind this is that these guys, if it was some big giant army, they would be fielded with probably Grey Knights, alongside them or something like that, or maybe they can serve, as a, I would say an auxiliary detachment, but more likely they would be, the spearhead for an overall campaign against, Xenos, however the various people say it. So anyway, we're finally starting to work on these guys and get them put together. Again, I will probably have a lot more shoulder pads than necessary by the time this is over with, as far as these guys are concerned. So I will probably be looking for other bodies to put them together, to put them with, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're steadily rolling forward, and after this we will be working on Grey Knight, so there's that. If you're new to the channel and you like what you see and like hanging out, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, especially afterwards, because that's what helps the channel. We do have a Patreon if you're interested in helping contribute to the channel, so that we can do this perhaps a little more full time. And there's a rewards program there if we're able to meet our goal. While we do have a ton of models still left to put together, like the very first video said, thousands to build, we are in fact making progress, which is great. So I have not decided yet what I plan on doing with this particular Salamander Terminator here, with all of his adornments on him. I have an idea that, I don't know, either he's going to be painted in such a way that he could be used either or for Deathwatch or the Salamander's army that I need to build, or my Salamanders in the army will be made similar to the Deathwatch, one of the two, because I really would hate to lose this guy, and I have 2 of them. I'd hate to lose him as an option, with this flamethrower. It looks so awesome. I mean, it's its own unique, style flamethrower or heavy flamer. I really hate to lose that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how we can do that. Because I don't want to go away from the lore, of the Deathwatch, and I want their armor to be black and all that kind of stuff. So at least that's the plan for now. I'm also outfitting each one of these 5-man squads with the heavy bolter / heavy flamer, and for one guy, and then I'm also outfitting them with the frag launcher. I think that's what it's called anyway, because after looking at their weapons and what they're able to actually accomplish, it actually looks really good for my style of play, especially considering the frag launcher itself is assault, and not heavy, so he can continue to move forward. And if I'm using it in the right way, then he'll be able to get 2 shots, up to 24 inches, so that's good. and obviously the Deathwatch have all of their various, particular bolt rounds and things like that. Now, I'm most likely going to put a stalker pattern bolter in the squad, not for gameplay, but just because of the look. Also, if I'm going to play kill team, you know, it would behoove me to have one of those there, and then I'll probably just count it as a regular, you know, regular bolter or anything else. But I'm surprised to find out that it counts as a heavy weapon in the codex, but it is what it is, and I'm not exactly seeing, you know, a huge advantage for having it, so that's unfortunate. Let's see here. And just for those of you that are keeping up with the Space Wolves drama, I mean, obviously it's Easter Sunday here in the US, but regardless, we still have not received from Games Workshop our Space Wolves shoulder pads, so that in itself presents a slight problem. I mean, the army is done except for that portion. I'll have to go back and clip off, or let's say clip off, just pop off all those shoulder pads and then put the new ones on, but it is what it is, and there's nothing we can do about it until the mail arrives, which is kind of interesting because, you know, mail really shouldn't be that slow right now. I know that's almost a running excuse, it seems sometimes, but it really shouldn't be. Okay, now I need to look for some arms for the other side, and once this squad is done, I'll know exactly how I'm doing the other ones, and it'll go a lot smoother. The question is, are we going to do the sword? I think we're going to do the sword. That's what it looks like. Yep. So, whoa. So, if you happen to be on the channel, or if you get on the channel, let me know what you're working on, how far you are in your project. Do you have any questions about 40K? Is it ironic that when I cut off these little pieces of flashing on the model, you know, the blades themselves, it's like it seems like it's almost sharpening the blade. Maybe not ironic, more like, you know, an observation, but or an interesting observation, like I am kind of sort of looking like I'm sharpening the blade or something. But you do have to be careful about that, because you can definitely put a gouge in that thing. You don't want to do that. I also find it interesting in some of the videos that I've watched as of late. I mean, I realize that it's from a tournament standpoint, I guess, you know, whatever the meta is, that, you know, some folks are like, oh, well, you know, this unit sucks and this unit's weak and blah, blah, blah. Well, again, I think that lends itself to tournament play only I don't think, well, and also, I mean, again, if you take a look at everything that I've talked about, you know, with the boards, you know, the way they're set up, you know, it's always the same type of mission, you know, objective wise and things like that. You know, they even say match play is very objective, you know, objective driven, and there's, you know, nothing wrong with that, I guess. But I wonder if some people, they're not getting what they paid for out of their army. You know what I mean? And if they're not, that in itself is unfortunate. But if you're into the competitive scene, I mean, I guess in some ways there's only so much you can do. I say those days are over for me, and I imagine that they are, but you never know. You never can tell. Alright, so essentially our squad here with three bolters, the heavy bolter / heavy flamer combo, and the frag launcher, or whatever the heck this thing's called. Hold on a second. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And no, I did not put any shotguns on these dudes. I'm not concerned with that. Frag cannon. Okay, Deathwatch frag cannon. I'm thinking, I guess I'm sort of kind of thinking of the Vengeance launcher, which I believe only exists in game Space Marine, but I could be wrong on that. Alright, so I'm going to set these three aside. I'm only using antenna type helmets for the guys with the big guns. And oh, something you guys might be interested in. You know how I don't necessarily like the beaky helmets, right? Well, unfortunately, unless I really wanted to do some crazy work, the models that came in, you know, this particular model here that came in the Overkill box set obviously has a beaky helmet. It's not a whole lot I can do about that. I mean, I can, but it would, you know, it might inadvertently mess the model up. And I like the way this, you know, this this beaky helmet actually looked. So it gave me an idea towards any other beaky helmets that I'll have, as far as trying to put in the little nostril things. And I went ahead and put 2 more beaky helmets on. And I think that if I ever do an actual Raven Wing, I'm sorry, not Raven Wing, oh my gosh, oh man, why can't I think of the name of them now? Oh man. Well, anyway, I'm sure you guys can think about what I'm talking about with, gosh, it's not Raven Wing, it's not Raven Claw. Black Ravens, or Raven Guard, that's it, Raven Guard. You know, if I put together anything like that, then, you know, I think I can roll with that, especially for their jump troops, because it'll fit the role more. I'm also not a big fan of lightning claws, but in this situation I think that they would work out pretty well. And I've kind of been looking for, you know, some kind of I don't know, some kind of way to actually use them. So, alright, I've been stalling here waiting for this stuff to dry. I need to pull out another Death Company. I'm sorry, gosh, Deathwatch. Too much death. Too much death in names. Yeah, here we go. And then we will be able to essentially finish this little 5-man squad. We'll have 4 others to go. 2 dreadnoughts, 10 terminators, which I will be putting 3 assault cannons in each squad if I have enough, which I'm sure I do. Just because, you know, more DACA. And then whatever I've got left for, you know, these shoulder pads, I will get some more bodies out for these guys. either to build this army up, or maybe I don't know. We'll see how many we have, and maybe I just add it to, you know, a different army, like I said before in the other video about you know, acting as if, you know, there was some Deathwatch veterans that came back to the chapter. So the one conundrum I keep running into is what chapter do I want these guys to represent? And I'm trying to be as, I don't know if obscure is the right word right now, but I'm trying to go as, you know, like most of them are, you know, that you see your Imperial Fist, Ultramarines, Raven Guard, Space Wolves, Blood Angels. I'm trying to kind of steer away from that a little bit. Now, when it came to, you know, the Flamethrower and Heavy Bolter, because of the Heavy Flamer, for me, no, I mean, it's a no-brainer, Salamander, right? But I used Iron Hands for the frag cannon. And what I've also noticed is that the frag cannon in the Overkill box set is apparently bigger, or at least it seems like it is. Okay, maybe it was just a light. Nah, it's just a light. Never mind. It looked bigger way back here, that's for sure. But yeah, so I used Iron Hands for that. I mean, I don't have a guy other than the one, let's see, I think it's this guy. Yeah, I have an Iron Hands guy here with his, you know, cybernetic leg or bionic leg, and there will be there's two of those guys, just because that's, you know, how it already is. So that'll help tie it in. We'll have a few more, and I'm trying to answer the question for myself too, like, if they went to war, you know, as a giant group, you know, where almost everything I know of the Deathwatch, they typically only deploy in squads of 4 or 5. But if they went this heavy, how many from each chapter, you know, would you typically have? What is the actual tithe from each chapter to the Deathwatch? I mean, I've not actually seen anything like that. You know, when you first read the books, if you don't know anything about them, it kind of leans to the understanding that it's one guy at a time from each chapter, which doesn't leave a whole lot of Deathwatch Marines out there, obviously. And then, of course, you have the game, you know, Deathwatch, the turn-based game where you have, you know, you could have a bunch of the same chapter in that little squad. So I don't know. I mean, obviously the, you know, the common sense part of it says, look, there's you know, all kinds of Marines and whatnot. But and then I just listened to a story. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. It was a short story. But anyway, where I believe it was a Space Wolf that had to go. You know, he was done with the Deathwatch, went back to his chapter, but his brother Space Wolf that went with him did not make it, because he sacrificed himself, and so he wasn't allowed to say what happened, you know, which is contrary to what they do. So the guy could not be honored, you know, for his sacrifice in any way. Just that his sword was brought back, and I guess that was going to have to suffice, and the chapter master knew that as well. It's part of the deal. So anyway. These heads for these guys aren't exactly, they don't exactly sit the same on each guy either, like as far as how far down they sit inside the, you know, their gorget on their throat there. But I mean, I guess I could cut it down, but in some cases they sit real low and the other ones sit high, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not looking forward to cutting a whole lot anymore on these guys. Let me get my hands in here. Alright. Now the Grey Knight army that I have that I'll be putting together after this, for the most part, it's put together. I mean, there's not a lot there for me to do. What I will have to do though is figure out with the parts that I have, you know, who's gonna be holding what, and as far as the older models, and then I may just have to say, you know, this counts as, you know, with the older models. And all of my Grey Knights are metal. Matter of fact, everything I think in that army except for maybe the assassins will be metal. The Inquisitors metal, all the Terminator, you know, Grey Knights are metal. Well, I guess, do I have a Dreadnought for that one? I can't remember. If I do have a Dreadnought for it, it won't be metal, but the rest of that stuff is, you know, it's all metal. And obviously the new plastic Grey Knights that are out there, you know, are different, and, or at least a little bit different, and they'll probably have a little more detail, at least until I'm able to get the metal ones primed, which I may do, because it's one thing that I've kind of been working on a little bit at a time, is priming some things that I'd like to be able to see the detail again, instead of it just being all black or all metal or what have you, and then I just don't know what's going on. So alright, and this is where the choice comes in. Ready to put these backpacks on, but we need to figure out, you know, what chapter they're going to be. Well, I know that we don't have, I think I've already cut off of one of these. And that's the other thing I'm trying to do too, is I'm trying to make sure that I preserve as many of these as humanly possible, so that I can turn around and hopefully make molds of them and have what I need for my other armies or whatever as I put them together. But I know that I did cut some stuff off here. Let's see. Some of these are pretty, I've got some pretty embellished shoulder pads, more like commander type stuff, which I won't be using obviously. A lot of ultramarine nonsense. Figure out where I laid it down. Apologies. Let's see. It's Terminators. Somehow I'm missing it here, because we only had 4 squads, and I took the Iron Hands one out. Somehow I'm missing, oh, here it is. Alright, so, and the Salamanders one. So we're going to go with Flesh Terrors. And that's going to be my next Blood Angels army. We're going to go with, because we've already got plenty of White Scars, plenty of Raven Guard, plenty of Dark Angels, plenty of Space Wolves, Blood Angels. Okay, so I guess we're going to go with this will either be white or black consoles. Need one more. Silver Skulls, Minotaurs. Or, let's see, do we have any Black Templars in here already? I don't think we do in this army. And that might be a good contrast to have. Alright, so we'll roll with some Black Templars. I really don't even need to cut this out because I've got a ton of Black Templar things, but this will probably match the army better than, you know, the ones that came with the chapter upgrade, but I'm not entirely sure about that. So, but it doesn't matter. We've got a plan. And so what I'll do is, when I go, I'll do the next squad exactly the same. Well, I mean, I can tell you this, all of the heavy weapons guys are going to be the same, as far as being Salamanders and Iron Hands, but I'll just try to shift up a little bit. Like the next squad, I'll keep it the same with the current 3 choices we chose, and then in the next 2 squads maybe I'll go, what is that, Howling Griffins or whatever else it could be, We could probably use some more of the Iron Fist logo, but we'll paint him as Crimson Fists or something like that. I know there's some other successor chapters out there, so when it comes time for painting, you know, we'll take a look at that. Maybe we'll even do a vote. You know, you guys can jump in on that and decide. You know, help me decide on what we should do. I'm not sure what this one is. If it's the Sons of Medusa or whatever that one is, and I don't think the camera's going to pick it up well enough for everybody to make it out. But basically, it's a skull surrounded by a sun, if you will. I think that's Sons of Medusa, but I'm not entirely positive. It used to be so much more on this stuff. Now I'm just this older dude that doesn't remember half of it anymore. But I'm hoping to change that. Alright. So I'll tell you another thing that's really great about this stuff is these Deathwatch kill teams. If you were ever wondering like how it would look good for you to outfit your guys with pouches, grenades, whatever, and a combat knife or what have you, even though this combat knife is more to scale, I mean, this will give you a perfect example. I mean, if you take a look at the back of this thing, you can see how it's on there like that. And then of course you put that on first, and then you would put your backpack or your power pack, whatever you want to call it, on afterwards. So right. Yep, I forgot to put his shoulder pad on. Who is this? Black Templar? Okay. Black Templars. Alright, there we go. We got one 5-man squad complete. That can go in line with the rest of these guys back here, and we have at least one squad that we know exactly, well, the squad and what we're going to do for all the heavy weapons, if you want to call them that. But yeah, this is it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty excited about this army. A lot of nice detail on it. Obviously it'll take a lot of work, painting it and stuff, but the way that I'm going to want to do it, it's going to be nice. I just have to remind myself it's going to be all about the zenithal look and zenithal highlight. But we're working towards building up our tool base as well for all of our dry brushing and things like that we needed to replace and get started with. So all that said, I just wanted to jump on here real quick, spend some time with you, show you what's going on, and again, if you like the channel, please subscribe, comment, like, and we'll see you next time. Who's behind me?
Me. It's behind you because I didn't go behind you in your office.
Yeah, but you got